Hey, and welcome to the Drippin' Stone Podcast, a podcast where two friends raise a glass and have a conversation. I'm Nick.
I'm Kyle.
What'd you think about that?
What's that?
The long and.
Oh, I thought that was a fly in my headset. Thought I let a mosquito in or something.
No, I was trying it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it was really good.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Like,
I'd hang on to that for sure.
just keep it
Yeah.
for every single one.
Well, and I wouldn't share it. You know, that's special.
Oh.
Thanks for sharing it this time, but like, man, don't wear it out, kind of a thing. You know.
So in the future, like, I just do that one for us.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
You don't want to.
It's a good call.
Okay. You know what else is a good call?
I mean, you don't even have to share with me if you'd rather not. I mean,
well,
I got to see it. It was cool.
You always get
Hear
to see.
it. Yeah. Yep.
Well, okay.
Fantastic.
So in the future, I'll just do it for you.
Yeah.
And eventually I'll elongate every word for you.
Oh, right. Yeah. Man. All right. Let's talk about whiskey. Let's get something in the glass.
Okay.
Woo.
What'd you bring?
Man.
I see what you're thinking of. Wow.
What?
Elongating it for you. I get it. Okay. Ben Holladay. Let's do it. I wasn't there. Now I'm there.
Okay.
And I think we need some whiskey before things get worse.
Gotcha.
Okay.
Gotcha. Yeah. Yeah. I got a bottle of Ben Holladay.
I ruined that. Well, technically, you can read it on the.
Yeah, everybody knew.
Yeah. Okay. What is
When they
it?
clicked on the episode. It's Ben Holladay. This is it's a distillery that's kind of like one of these newer labels that
Is it a revived?
got some notoriety. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. It's a distillery that existed as far back as 1856.
Oh wow! What did we just do that was another one of those?
What was that?
Oh, Green River.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Green
yeah,
River,
okay.
Similar kind of take. But this is a Missouri whiskey.
Missouri, you say?
Yeah, Missouri.
Misery.
Missouri. Bourbon. Straight bourbon.
Oh.
But yeah, it's their label. I would assume their mash bill, but it is distilled and everything in Missouri.
Interesting.
Distilled, aged, and bottled in Weston, Missouri.
I know exactly where that is.
Seriously?
No. I
Okay.
have no idea.
Cool.
I don't think I've been to St. Louis.
Samey.
Yeah. I've been to St. Louis, and that's my Missouri experience.
Yeah, I've been to Lake St. Louis, and I've been to, I think it's Charleston, or just St. Charles. Yeah, I think it's St. Charles.
Yeah, that's right
Missouri.
outside of St. Louis, right?
Gorgeous little
Yeah,
place.
yeah.
Loved that place. That was super cute.
We there's a winery out that way that we went and visited.
Yeah.
I think it's out that way.
Yeah.
Doesn't your sister live out there?
She does, yeah.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, that's why we went.
Oh, gotcha. You just didn't like randomly go to, some tiny little Missouri
Let's go
town?
check out these places. Yeah, no, I was there.
Cool.
Visiting family.
So we don't know where Weston, Missouri is, but we do have whiskey in front of us. So
Yeah, indeed we do. Yeah, Ben Holladay. They've kind of jumped up into the whiskey notoriety,
Yes,
if you will,
yes.
recently. And I was recently up in Alabama and saw a bottle of this. Ironically, I went to go watch a football game where
Ooh.
Alabama played Missouri, ironically enough. I didn't even realize it until I connected all those dots later. Saw this, recognized the name, knew that it was getting some attention and things, and was like, absolutely, yeah, I'd like to give that a shot.
Yeah, I know that it's one of those like bottles that because it's relatively new, that it's getting a lot of buzz lately.
Yeah.
And I've been interested in trying it. I know that they just they released something kind of weird, if I'm not mistaken, recently. Do you know anything about that?
I know they've got a red wheat
That's what it was.
that's like
Yeah,
getting
yeah.
a lot more attention also. Like a lot of people are like comparing it to Weller Foolproof.
Oh, they're just taking like the red dye number 40 and just dropping it in there.
Perhaps.
Yeah.
Perhaps.
Well, it's banned in the UK, so like that's probably why they're doing
They got to find other uses for it.
Right.
Got it.
What is this? Is it just a straight Ben Holladay?
Ben Holladay bottled and bottled, but I think it is
Oh,
just
okay.
their
That is their thing.
That's their base. I believe. I
Interesting.
don't. If they do, I'm not aware of it. If they have like an 80 proofer or something like that. But yeah,
So 100 proof.
100 proof Missouri straight bourbon whiskey. This was distilled in the spring of 2017.
Okay.
Bottled July of this year, 2024.
So
Aged 6
years,
years
yeah.
in new charred oak barrels.
Okay. I got a little bit of mash bill for you.
Okay.
You want to hear it?
Hill.
Or do we want to? I haven't looked at it. I know I have it on my phone. Do we want to try it first, or do you want to hear the mash
Maybe
bill?
let's try it first,
Okay,
and then we'll look
let's try
at
it.
it.
All right.
See what we can gather.
Cool.
But yeah, it is interesting. I mean, it does say that it's, I feel like I read something somewhere about it being Missouri's oldest distillery or something like
Yeah.
that. But it does say that it's DSP MO5.
Huh.
So
there's four. Maybe it's
maybe it's
oldest,
the oldest
operating.
currently operating.
Right.
But yeah, this was Rickhouse C. Apparently, they must have a pretty large
Wow,
little
they got
operation going on.
Rickhouse C.
Yeah.
Unless that's just like they called it Rickhouse C.
Yeah. We're going to build A and B at a later time. But it's kind of cool. On the bottle here, it even tells you like that this is 55% floor 5 and 45% of floor 4 in Rickhouse C.
See, I love that because a lot of people don't understand that your bourbon, and same thing for Scotch, unless there's, it's saying this is a single barrel. It is in some ways, and I recognize I'm going to say a word that people are like,
Whoa.
But it is a blend of barrels.
Sure.
And so like when you buy a bottle of Wild Turkey, someone is taking those barrels and blending the barrels together to make Wild Turkey.
Yeah, unless it's a single barrel.
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you get something like that and you nerd out a little bit with some information. Like, I love that.
Yeah, agreed.
So then that,
and it would just be fun too.
Does it
Like,
tell
say
you-
if you lived in St. Louis, and you could go to different stores and take a look at that, and then you could like start to play around. Like, oh, okay, well, I'm curious now. Like, how does it change if I get some of those lower floors?
That's what I was going to ask you. Like, does it share the percentage, or it just says like these are?
Yeah, no, it did. I said it. It's 55% floor 5,
Okay,
and 45% floor 4.
Thank you for circling back on that for me. I appreciate that.
I'll highlight it this time.
So if you get one that's like, I like this floor better, and then all of a sudden well, the single barrel is floor 5 or whatever.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, or like the first floor bottles, man, those slap. So like you try to find that. So yeah, I just think that'd be fun. Especially if it was like like I said, if you're local and you have access to like, you can get a bunch of different variety of bottles. That'd be fun. But anyway,
let's pop that cork.
Let's go.
What? Come on, Ben Holladay.
Yeah, I mean, I hate to be like a homer like that, but like, if you're not able to put a cork in it, it's a little disappointing.
I'm gonna say this. I've come around to the artificial cork. I'm okay with it. I would still rather a cork.
Sure.
But I want a cork.
Straight up screw top's tough.
It is. And that's why that's my thing with Weller, man. Like,
got a special one of those coming.
Oh.
I sent you that, right?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
But
I know,
we didn't tell you about
I know
it.
I know it's a screw top.
It's gonna be a screw top, yeah. All right.
Disappointing. Anyway,
let's do it. Delightful sound.
Yeah, at least that sound still sounds good.
I feel like when that sound stops sounding good, that's when we just stop. That's when we're like, okay, we're done.
Good idea. Good idea.
This is some nice color.
Yeah, it's giving off a little bit of like red, kind of crimson.
I was gonna say that.
Almost.
Yeah, like darker, caramel maybe almost. I don't want to say darker than just a normal Kentucky bourbon, but it doesn't feel the same.
I'm gonna turn the lights on just in case that's it.
So everybody knows we're sitting in the dark. Oh, that's what you look like? Now turn it back off.
Never mind.
Again, why are you in nothing but your boxer shorts?
Bro, I'm just comfortable.
Okay. Well, I support it.
I feel like it's
yeah, you're right.
It does
it's
kind
not
of suggest me
not
a
as
bit
dark.
more. It's a little, overcast outside today.
Sure.
I think it's just that kind of thing.
It's 6 years.
6 years old.
Yeah.
Not bad.
On the nose. There's a little tingly bits with the proof there.
Smells like bourbon.
It does. Caramel, vanilla.
Got some oak.
That oak nature's nice.
Yeah.
It's almost like tucked in the back there. I get caramel first. I get like brown sugar.
Yep.
And then there's the oak.
Red apple.
Little bit of purse candy for me.
Ooh.
Little purse candy.
Little touch.
Slight. I don't want to say funk because that's not right.
Maybe like mom's purse candy. Not quite grandma's.
Not yet. Not quite grandma's. Yeah.
Not quite mama's purse candy.
Nah.
Yeah, I think it's a really pretty nose. I know I told you, like, I opened this bottle in Alabama.
Yeah.
And just tried it while I was up there to have something to sip on. And my initial take on it was like, it's fine.
Sure.
It's not incredible or anything like that, but like,
But you've
wouldn't
gotten
say anything
through
bad of it.
About half the bottle at this point.
Well, yeah, I was up there for a week.
Yeah.
So yeah, I drank something.
No, but I guess what I'm asking is, do you feel the same way?
I think it's opening up and getting better.
Growing on you?
Yeah, getting better as I'm going through the bottle.
Yeah. 6-year-old bottle and bond, like I'm
hard to beat.
Yeah.
Hard to turn your nose at it.
Shall we?
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah. That's way better than the nose. Like not that I don't think that the nose was fine.
Yeah.
But the nose was nothing to write home about.
Right.
The palate, however, that's nice.
Yeah, for sure.
There's some nice spicy notes there.
Yeah, I'm starting to get a little bit like orange rind, a little citrusy thing happening. oh God.
Yeah. Excuse me. A little bit of proof.
Right.
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
Carol, you want to try it?
We got a special guest in the room with us. Oh, Missouri hug.
It done got down there and grabbed you?
Yeah. Okay.
It is the gateway to the West.
Missouri?
Yeah.
Yeah.
St. Louis specifically.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I've seen that plastered everywhere.
Yep.
Yeah. I think like they love that.
Gateway to the west side of your stomach too.
I felt it.
I just got there. Open that gate right up.
All right. So sweet bourbon. It tastes like every other bourbon.
Yeah, for sure.
But once you get through like mid palate, then this like really lovely spicy note comes in and kind of like just it coats the back end of my palate.
Yep.
And like that's where I get the like the a little bit like it's like
Agreed.
hanging
Yeah.
on.
A little bit of a grind there.
Yeah.
Oh.
That's actually nice.
Yeah.
I really like that.
Yeah, it's
peppery note.
delightful.
Yeah. Like sometimes peppery can be just too much, but this is good spicy.
Yeah, and it's a really good balance of all those things. Like it's not like really heavy on any given flavor note.
Yeah.
It's just all really like just really pretty.
Yeah.
Just like capital B bourbon.
Capital B bourbon. I'm getting a little bit of like old library, a little bit. There's some old library in there, like old book. I think that's the spiciness just like kind of being pushed a little further.
Yeah, it's a good bit of spice. Makes me think.
I'm gonna say that's the predominant note. Like after sweet because it's sweet. I'm
Right.
gonna say yeah. So what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it makes me wonder.
Yeah.
Is there a good chunk of rye in
I'm
here?
gonna say yeah.
Yeah.
I'm
More,
gonna
more
say-
than 10%?
Yeah. I'm gonna say more than 10% rye. I'm gonna say first corn, because of how sweet it is. I'm gonna say corn is up. It's more than 51. I'm gonna say corn is somewhere in that like 65%.
Yeah. I mean, I don't think I've ever. I can't think of one anyway. A bourbon that is
Just 51.
51%. They're usually always, I feel like, up in
Higher
like 70.
70s. Yeah.
Just a touch of MB.
Touch MB. Yeah. A lot of corn. Rye second. Hit you with some MB to even it out a little bit.
So you think more rye than malted barley?
Yeah. I'm gonna say corn first, definitely, obviously. Rye's next. Malted barley.
Okay.
You?
I want to say the same. Like
Okay.
that rye.
You can.
I mean,
You don't have to be contrarian.
it's just hard to say that it's that I think it's rye because there's not a rye note
I'm
specifically.
sure, but I think that spicy note, like what else would that be?
I think. Well, I mean,
It can be proof,
I'm
but I don't think
curious.
the proof is high enough.
because I always get that spicy note in Buffalo Trace, and I don't think that mash bill is the higher rye.
All right, the Ben Holladay 6-year-old bottle and bond.
Yep.
73% corn,
There you go.
15% rye,
There it is.
12% malted barley.
There it is.
Yeah.
Closer than I would have thought, actually.
Yeah,
I was kind of thinking it'd be a little bit higher on the rye.
Yeah,
Just because like I don't feel like the barley, that cereal grain
sure.
really comes through at all. Because I was kind of thinking maybe it's more like around that like 6-7%, and it was
I think
more rye.
I think the MB is adding a touch of the sweetness, like a different kind of sweetness in the corn. But I think really what it does, at least in my understanding, is that it's like that's what's kind of just holding everything together, if that makes sense.
Right.
Because you got so much from the sweet corn
Yeah.
that you need something like even out everything else.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not. It doesn't get into that mellow-corn
No.
arena of cream corn.
Yeah.
It stays away from that. I always go back to mellow corn because it is so unique and specifically corn forward. Corn flakes and
It's cream corn.
sugar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's delightful, actually. I didn't have high hopes
Yeah.
for two reasons. One, you said, initially.
Yeah.
And two, I've not, other than their new release, I've not heard like just rave reviews. I've heard decent reviews, but not rave reviews.
I saw it and it was just name recognition.
Sure.
And I was like, oh, cool. I haven't seen that in Florida
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah, me neither.
So would love to try it and just see what it is. And so it was like an immediate, just like, I would like to try that. It's bonded.
Yeah.
Like there's no way it can be bad. And I think just the fresh crack pour that I had just didn't excite me that day.
Sure.
I had already had a whiskey that day.
Yeah.
So like maybe
That
it's just like an
changes
off
things.
thing.
What
But every pour that I've had since then, I've been more like, oh, actually, no. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
That's solid.
now for me it's that spicy note. Like that's what really does it.
Yeah.
What was the price of this bottle?
It was around that $60 mark.
E.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
No-
That's tough.
Oh.
That is tough.
Normally we don't talk about price, but I needed to know
Yeah.
because knowing now that it's 60,
Yeah.
I
I agree.
I don't
I'm
know
right
if I'd
there.
do it.
It's solid, and I understand you're a new distillery.
Sure. You gotta
you're
do
a-
the thing.
A younger
You have to do
label,
it.
but it is kind of that thing of like, would that be something that, again, if I was from Missouri, if I was living in Missouri, I'd have a stronger connection to it.
Sure.
So maybe
Yeah.
I would.
But what I guess
For
like
my shelf,
would I
don't
seek this
know.
out?
Yeah.
I don't like. There's nothing bad about it,
Right.
but I don't know if I would seek it out over other bottles at 60.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I think there are other.
If you got that sitting right next to Henry McKenna,
Sure.
right around that 60, 65.
Yeah.
Also 100 proof.
Yeah.
4 more years.
I think I'd go with the Henry McKenna.
You know, that's the kind of ballpark you're putting yourself in.
Right.
You know, even if you just
I don't
back
fault
that
it at
off
all.
to 45 or 50.
Right.
Sure. Like this
That's a different conversation.
Yeah. As nitpicky as that is, but still.
Well, but that's just the world that we're in, man. That's what we do.
Mhm.
That's what the people come here for.
I don't disagree.
For our hot takes.
And they're smart for doing it.
Exactly.
They're very wise.
Yeah. Speaking about being very wise.
Yep.
I saw this quote, and I thought it was incredibly interesting in terms of this person was framing, or how this person was framing intelligence.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Artificial?
No, like actual human intelligence.
OG.
Yeah, OG,
Gotcha.
OG intelligence.
OG.
Yeah,
not
sure.
AI. OG.
And they were talking about like how you can begin as a layperson, if you will, to separate people that are intelligent, or how do we quantify or qualify intelligence in some ways, versus people that aren't. And like I know how binary that sounds, but they were talking about what makes an individual intelligent. And I think that there are a lot of types of intelligence, but overall, their argument is that people that are intelligent have a better understanding of pain and suffering. Okay. And this stems from a quote by the author Fyodor Dostoevsky.
Whoa.
Yeah. Have you ever read any Dostoevsky?
I have not.
Yeah. Crime and Punishment.
Nope.
Brothers.
War and Peace.
That's Tolstoy.
Oh, right. I thought it was like
another Russian
the
dude.
duality.
Yeah. No. Brothers Karamazov.
Right.
Yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
No. So no
ketchup
Russian.
and mustard.
Peanut butter and jelly.
Right. There
Yeah,
it is.
Exactly. Yeah. So no, you've
Nah,
never read.
I have not.
I can't fault you.
Have you?
I have.
Yeah.
And I am always on the fence about Russian authors because like they're very
Dark and brooding?
not yet. Yes, in a lot of ways, but there's not a whole lot of there's a lot of exposition, and
Gotcha.
like it's sometimes like
Difficult
dense.
to read.
It's dense to
Right.
read. Yeah. So like obviously War and Peace is like a cajillion pages, but it's not just that. It's like you've got to earn this kind of thing.
Right.
So for me, I do like the Russian authors, but you've got to be in like the frame of mind for it.
Right.
And there's not a whole lot of happy going on either.
Right. Baltic Porter.
That's exactly. It's not a summer read. It's not a beach read.
Just chilling here at the beach, sitting by the ocean, reading
With my
some
Imperial Stout.
Dostoevsky. Excellent.
So the quote that this person's referring to
Yeah.
is that pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart.
Say it again.
Pain and suffering are always inevitable for a large intelligence and a deep heart.
Yeah. Couldn't agree more.
Well, you can get in touch with us through email. It's
Exclamation point.
So the idea behind this quote is not that people who are intelligent suffer more. That's not what the quote is necessarily saying.
Sure.
But the heart of the quote, or the real meaning of the quote, is that people who are intelligent are more aware of their kinds of suffering.
Right.
And are more aware of what that suffering does, from where it stems, and in some ways how to engage in that suffering.
Yeah, what it seems to suggest to me is that with intelligence is going to provide information, understanding of suffering, where it comes from, what causes it, and perhaps the inability to do anything about it. Exactly.
And when the as you continue through that kind of thought process, that the more you live and the more you recognize those kind of particular perspectives of suffering, then you can start to figure out how to better deal with those things. Ergo, you are becoming more maybe social or emotionally intelligent because you're able to deal with those things.
Well, but I don't feel like the quote is necessarily saying that you're going to have a better understanding of how to deal with it. It's just, unfortunately, a greater understanding of its existence, how it came to be, why it is, and the fact that you still have to deal with it and not be able to.
Yeah, but I disagree.
What this is reminding me of is ignorance is bliss.
Yes. And I agree with you completely that like when we don't know about our suffering or we don't know about these things that like suck in the world, yeah, it's definitely better. Like because we are ignorant to those things.
Right.
But I disagree in that I think that through more pain and suffering and going through those experiences, I would like to think what that does is it causes a person to be more empathetic and understanding of this pain and suffering. So an individual who has never gone through this or is never able to take a step back and kind of reevaluate their own pain and suffering and the myriad ways that occurs, that they're unable to actually engage in an empathetic pursuit. I mean, I don't think you have to look very far popular culture wise to see people who are doing this.
Right.
You have kind of, in some ways, upper echelon people who are looking at the rest of people going like, oh, you know, poor people, sure, but like, sorry.
Yeah, not my problem.
Yeah, exactly. And so I think that the more that you're forced to engage by life through pain and suffering, and that you're able to, and maybe this is kind of the crux of the quote too, is that you're able to not internalize that, but able to understand it more, that then creates an individual who is more empathetic and thereby becomes more intelligent because of that.
Agreed, but I feel like the take on suffering as a whole, understanding it, like I feel like with the ignorance of why it exists, how it exists, how it came to be, you're able to kind of not ignore it in a sense of like I'm not suffering,
Sure,
just but ignore the cause of it, because it's like I've got this trial
Sure.
that I have to work through. But I think with the intelligence that you're then able to decipher the cause and find the root to it, but even within then, it may be something that you can't find the solution to.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of suffering, because like I think with more intelligence and with more knowledge of the situation, it becomes an even perhaps a deeper hole. Whereas like the person that is ignorant of it and is not as intelligent can more easily just accept your situation.
Yeah, for lack of getting like too kind of esoteric in some ways, like the philosopher Nietzsche said that like in order for us to really understand that suffering, we have to go and we have to gaze into the abyss. We have to go see what kind of shit's out there.
Right.
And then we only realize what the shit is when we understand that it's also gazing back at us.
Right.
That like we're just seeing that kind of reflection in our own perspectives. So I think the intelligence of this kind of pain and suffering comes from the understanding that this is the unifying factor for everybody. Whether or not everybody understands this, because not everybody understands this.
Right.
So like the intelligence is connected to the idea that you can understand these things, and not everybody has the ability to do that.
Right.
And so I think in that way, the ability to understand pain and suffering would make you a more intelligent person. But I think the downside to that is that now you understand pain and suffering and it sucks.
Right.
So like, sure, ignorance is bliss. Yeah. Absolutely.
Like, do you know the full quote of
no.
ignorance is bliss?
No.
So the full quote, which is from Thomas Gray's 1742 poem, Ode on a Distant Prospect of Eton College. It's one of my favorites. The full quote
I do like me some Thomas Gray.
Okay.
Yeah, I have read Thomas Gray.
The full quote is, where ignorance is bliss, 'tis folly to be wise.
There you go.
Like, that's great, like, in terms of, like, just adding in that extra bit.
'Tis folly
like,
to be wise.
Don't try to be smart.
Right. because
it's going to be worse on the other side of it.
Yeah.
That's from 1742, so it predates this by over 100 years. He already had it.
You don't need to read the Russian authors; just read the English authors.
But you can't help yourself.
No,
you know.
Yeah,
and I think that's part of like the interesting concept of just human curiosity.
Right.
Of you do want to understand the thing.
No, hold on. I think certain people want to understand the thing.
Oh, well, sure. Yeah.
And I think that's what I'm also getting at in terms of like that kind of like, I don't want to say hierarchy because that's not right, but awareness hierarchy.
Sure.
Like, yes, I would like to think that the majority of people want to understand that about themselves and about the world.
Right.
But I also have existed in the world for a couple of years.
Where you're aware that there's a large percentage of society that is okay with a simple explanation.
And I don't think there's anything wrong with that either.
Agreed. I mean, again, if you're going to be happy on that side of it, is that the wrong way to go through life?
No.
Is not life attempting to
that's what I think that's what
achieve as much happiness as possible?
So I think in some ways that like the more intelligent you are, I guess sometimes the more shitty your life is because you are aware of how shitty the things are.
Yeah. Which I think is what I was saying.
Yeah, maybe I just had to.
At the beginning, I
just had to get there.
Had to help you.
I had to process that. It took me a minute. I'm going to go back and listen to the first part when I'm editing this and see if that's what you said.
Right.
And if that's what you said, I'm just going to cut everything.
I mean, again, I think it is. I think it's interesting in terms of with intelligence becomes this frustration,
right?
Especially if you're in a position of how can I affect that?
Yeah.
How can I change that suffering?
Right.
What can I do to ease that? And if it is not sharing the information, like that's you know, I mean that's a tough
and how can
realization.
I guess in some ways how can I affect change in others as well, because I know that this thing is happening.
Yeah, and I see it, and I know what the problem is, but I'm in no position to affect it. But yeah, no, I mean, I think it's one of those things too that I love, of like seeing how something was an issue 200 years ago.
Yeah,
that they came to a realization that is something that is so clearly an issue today,
right?
And something that I think about all the time, of like, you know, just, oh yeah, man, like things could be so much easier if you just like didn't care, you know, and just didn't pay attention to stuff. And you'd be so much happier, but like just curiosity and things like that just drive you to understand things.
I think we like to pride ourselves as maybe a species in some ways of like, look how far we've come. And yet, like, yes.
I mean, we are problem solvers.
Correct.
As a species.
Sure. Like, look at all the things that we've done. Look at all the problems we've solved. And yet, there are these things that are so deeply ingrained in us as humans that, like what you just said, Thomas Gray was discussing this 200 years ago.
Right.
And Dostoevsky was discussing this 140 years ago.
Right.
And it's still affecting us today, you know? And I love those kind of philosophical answers, in that like there is no real answer, but this is just kind of like how we engage in the world.
Yeah. And like in my head, I'm like, I've got like one of these like bar graphs of like your intelligence and how happy you can be.
Oh yeah.
And like there's gonna be a cross section.
Yeah.
Of like, okay.
Yeah, the chart.
I'm medium happy and I'm medium smart.
Yeah.
Maybe I should just stop because I see the connection here.
Yeah. But the problem is like you don't know that until you've crossed that line, and you
right. And
once
it's like
you're there,
too late.
Yeah.
I'm already addicted to this knowledge stuff.
Exactly.
Me like thinky brain.
Right. Can't turn it off now.
Yeah, too late.
Yeah. I guess like that just means
here
more
comes
bourbon.
the suffering. Yeah.
We can remedy this a bit.
Always more bourbon.
That's correct.
Yeah.
Well, on that note, you got anything else?
No. I got a little bit left of this bourbon.
I don't, but there's more in the bottle.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to get you a little bit more because I'm going to try a little thing here.
All right.
Good show.
Agreed.
You can't beat a little drink and a little thought.
No, and that's
little
what we do.
contemplation.
That's what we do.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that everyone who's listening has gone on that journey with us.
I really hope when you go back and listen to this, I didn't provide you with more intelligence that's going to infer more suffering upon you. I don't know if I could live with myself.
I think, unfortunately, my good sir, it's inevitable, is what I've come to the conclusion.
Well, I don't know. Like, I mean, I know a lot more now about Ben Holladay than when we started this episode.
Sure.
And I'm not upset about it. No suffering at all, other than it's not in Florida.
On that note, we'd love to know what you think about the Ben Holladay Bottle and Bond 6-year Missouri.
Yeah, I'd love to know if you've had
Bourbon
anything
whiskey.
else. I'd love to know if you've had anything else from Ben Holladay, because it seems pretty great.
We'd also love to know, what do you think about the intersection of intelligence and suffering?
Yeah. How unfortunate is that cross-section when they start to meet?
And where are you on that chart?
Yeah, go ahead and look at that chart. And if you're on that left side, maybe just hang out. You know, you might be better for it.
I'd like to think that the majority of the Drep and Stone listeners are probably in that, at the very least, in that meeting of the intelligence and happiness.
No, I think definitely the vast majority of the Drep and Stoners are not listening.
They just tuned out.
Yeah,
Okay.
they were just like, I don't like where this is going.
I don't think so.
I don't know where they are.
Yeah, who knows?
I don't know where the Drippin' Stoners are.
And you know what? I think that's okay.
That's good.
But I would like to know where you are. So reach out and get in touch with us. You can get in touch with us through email. That's drepinstone@gmail.com. You can also get in touch with us through social media.
It's always one word, Drippin' Stone, DREP and Stone. Come find us where we're socializing our media, and you can socialize yours right along with ours. And you can also interact with it, because we really appreciate that.
Hearts and stars and thumbs
Likes
ups and
and-
stuff.
Yeah.
You can support the podcast by rating Drippin' Stone wherever it is you get great podcasts like this one. You can support Drippin' Stone by telling someone about the podcast. And finally, you can support us financially by visiting our Patreon. That's patreon.com/DrippinStone.
Drop us a buck.
Or 30.
Yeah. Or a bottle.
Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
May your glass overflow.
And your intelligent ass never show. Or your dumb ass. might be more appropriate. Cheers, buddy.
Cheers.